Hey everybody, week 3, no new episodes, but I am very happy to share this one with you this week. Reminder, this is John, one half of United 96, and this week I am bringing you our interview with Devon McTavish, former color commentary of DC United, also former defender. This is a good one, and every time I interview someone that talks for a living, the episodes are very long. So enjoy that. It's actually a really good one, and if you missed it the first time, I'm sure you'll enjoy it this time. Check out whatever we have for you next week. I'm not sure yet. It might be another interview. Vamos. Welcome into RFK Refugees Podcast. This is the second of the week out of 3 because we don't understand supply and demand, and we just put out way more than anyone's looking for. But Ted Meyer continues to be on vacation. I continue to be putting out content, and I have with me Devon McTavish. Devon, thank you for joining us.
John, it's my pleasure. Thanks for joining. Thanks for having me on tonight. What day is it? Where are we? What's going on?
It doesn't matter, does it? Really? Right? I don't know.
Everything does run together, and if it's not a game day, then I just don't have any focus in my life at all. So. Yeah,
I feel that.
That's where we're at.
I feel that. So, most important, I think we have to get this out of the way. The people want to know, when was the last time that you dyed your hair blonde? And don't say it wasn't this year.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you got bored during lockdown. What happened? What's going on? Look at that.
Yeah. So I have a hat on, and I took it off, and it's, a lot of salt, but there's a lot of pepper in there too. Mostly salt at this age, but. Honestly, John, I did some sun-in like in high school or college. That was it. And never had the audacity or the courage, I should say, to bleach my hair. Like, I grew up in the time, like I'm in like 8th grade, 9th grade when Jaime is, doing his bleach blonde hair and running MLS. And I'm like, that's what I always wanted to be, that I just could never pull off the bleach blonde hair. And so, and then what was it, last week? The Philly game?
I think it was the Philly game.
So, yeah, I can't remember if you started. Did you start? Yeah. And so I don't know what was going on there. Well, actually, we have this guy.
It was the delay. It was the weather delay. We have your Klieg lights made you.
Bored. We just got bored and started just like throwing stuff in my hair. Yeah. That was really all about the lighting.
I understand.
It was
Yeah, I get it. I actually recall a time. I think we're pretty similar in age, and I remember around 8th grade it became very cool to highlight your hair, like to dye your hair, like pull it through a cap and dye that blonde. Tips, frosted tips. Yeah, I did that. I was doing that in middle school football. It was a great time. I have pictures I remember fondly of that I will never.
Than I was.
Well, I don't know if it worked out, but I certainly tried it.
Man, we got to do sometimes. You got to have some pictures of that, I'm sure, somewhere.
I'm sure. That's right. That's a Patreon high-level tier to get those pictures to get on the internet. So I think let's walk through a broadcast day for you at home. So like a home game starts normal time, 7:00. What's a day like for you? When do you roll in? What's prep like? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, good question. So. A lot of kids' activities because my wife is going to be by herself for about a third of the day and having to do bedtime by herself with 2 kids, both under the age of 4.
You got to build that equity up early day. You're super dad.
Exactly. So I wouldn't say super dad, but yeah, build that equity up. That's a good way to put it. Tire the kids out and, do a grocery run if needs to, that sort of thing. But, honestly, throughout the day, because you can never do enough preparation. Like, I mean, obviously, even leading up until the time we get the team sheet, you don't fully know who's going to be in the 11, who's on the bench, if players are going to be fit or not. And so things are constantly changing. And so even like leading into going live for our pregame show, I mean, we're still doing research on, what's happening with whatever team we're playing, who exactly we're trying to get confirmation from DC United's locker room. And so, throughout the day, I'm constant in communication, usually with Dave. Obviously, everyone knows Dave Johnson. He's got contacts throughout the league, so he's always kind of, using his web to get the latest details on whoever DC United's playing. And then obviously, Jeff Strauss, our director producer, he's always kind of like lining up elements for us as well. And hey, maybe we should try this. So it's a lot of while I'm trying to keep the kids entertained during the day, it's also a lot of, responding to emails. Hey, Devin, look at this video. What do you think? Do we need to throw that in there? Think about this concept. And maybe this, I don't want to say narrative, because that sounds like we are the ones who developed the narrative, but what do you think of this?
There's storylines. Sure.
Yeah. So, and then I arrive to, we do all games right at Audi Field, so home and away. We do the booth turns into a little studio for away matches, but we roughly get there about, I would say 2.5 to 3 hours before game, depending on maybe what life is like at home at the time. Dave, I think, gets there like 9:30 in the morning. If it's an 8 p.m. kickoff, I'm not exagerating. That dude,
he's flipping hamburgers out in the parking lot.
He's doing it. And I joked, I think one time in how many years I've been doing this, 5 or 6, I think I've beaten him to the stadium once. And I'm confident it was because the Wizards had a day game. So that was the only time.
You take the win. That's fine.
Yeah. And you know what? But, he's always prepared, and obviously a pleasure to work with too. So, and then, we do a production meeting about 2 hours before, just kind of review what we're talking about. If, provide updates if we get any updates from either side, and, go time. Then from there, it's just kind of like finalizing notes on the teams, trying to remember stats. Obviously, we have sheets of papers in front of us, so we don't have to remember every stat. But like I said, it's just really until the whistle, actually until the pregame, it's just really trying to make sure we're up to speed with the latest updates and the latest news. And not just for our game, but also kind of what's going on in MLS as well.
Is there like a post-broadcast breakdown meeting, or do you guys cover that the next day, like to cover anything that went through on the show that you want to change next time, or that you liked in particular?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we do, depending, like a Sunday night at 8:00, especially when Dave Johnson's waking up at 2:30 the next day.
We'll talk on Monday on that one, right?
We will talk on Monday. Sometimes Tuesday, give us an extra 24 hours to, wrap our thoughts around it. But yeah, we do a little debrief, and then we talk about the week coming up. And so, we also work, obviously Claudia Pagan is on the broadcast as well. And there's always things that they're working on that we may not fully know about. They may not even be able to discuss until actually is time to announce it. So, we try to, if they're able to talk to us about, to let us know, hey, this is some feature we'd like to put in, or this is the player that we're going to talk about. We want to talk about, here's why. And so, so typically it happens about 24, 48 hours after the match. But, if there's like a nice friendly, like 5 or 6 o'clock game, then we'll head down to the truck and just kind of debrief there as well. Which, by the way, if you ever get a chance to go in a production truck, the amount of buttons in there and the number of things that you could screw up, I don't know how anything gets accomplished or anything goes out, but obviously everyone in there does a fantastic job. And I'd actually like to sit in there one day just to kind of see how it all plays out, because I think it's rather chaotic. But I also know that everyone in there knows what they're doing. So
I remember walking by those trucks on the way to Lot 8 at RFK after those games, and the compulsion to want to like pull on some of those cables, because there's like 9,000 patch cables connected to. You're like, what would happen exactly? Something bad would happen, but what would happen exactly? I was always too cowardly and to good benefit. Wouldn't want to cut off the post game show.
I don't think they're that easy to unplug though.
Right.
I think there's a little bit more to it than just just walking by and just pulling it out like a little light switch. So. Our light sockets. So no, I know.
Particularly into Lot 8 of fans leaving games. If it were easy to do, they would have done it many times. So good point there. Yeah. I think most fans don't know that it was extremely common for broadcasters to call remotely, even before COVID. Now, obviously, it's a no-brainer. But I think that's sometimes a surprise to fans as they're, as they realize sort of a shortcoming that occurs because you're not there, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have sorry to cut you off, but we have Moises Linares, on the broadcast now, and he helps with the pregame show, and then he does, the broadcast on Teleexitos. And so we had kind of talked before the season, and obviously at this point, no one's traveling. I don't think any production crew has traveled. They're maybe going to start doing it from rumors that I'm hearing. Just some teams are going to start doing it here shortly from what I'm gathering. But, he had indicated, he's like, Spanish broadcast, I've never traveled. We're just always just in a booth, just watching a game for wherever it may be taking place. So it's a different experience. And obviously I think viewers at home realize that as well, but nothing beats being in the stadium, feeling the vibe, the energy, and obviously being able to see more than what the home team director wants to show us. So
Right.
it makes it a little more challenging, but at the same time, given our current environment, it's obviously a no-brainer.
I know. I'm trying to recall. I feel like a couple games you guys did maybe when we were under two different TV channels ago. So when we were on
News Channel 8.
Yeah, was it News Channel 8 that you did a couple road games? I think maybe Toronto.
Yeah, we did. Let's see. I think I started in 2016. So second half, we traveled until I want to say we traveled 2016, 17, 18.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I don't think we did with Flow. So yeah.
Any part of you miss the travel, or obviously right now I think we all kind of miss travel because we've all been sort of homebound for a year and a half. But and you have two young kids, so maybe it's happening at the right time in your life. It's good to be able to sleep in your bed every night and be able to help out with, but. Imagine a little bit, right?
Yeah. No, so from, the initial question, do I miss travel? I do, because, obviously now we have, and we're not playing it, but you have a new stadium in Austin. You have a new stadium in Columbus, which obviously the team, are they going to?
I think one.
They played. Do we have one at the end of the season? Yeah, we do. And coming up here. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Like in next Wednesday. And then Cincinnati, I would love to see that stadium as well. And just feeling again, especially after the way the past 18 months have been, like going out to a new city and seeing the stadium and feeling the energy there. And obviously the broadcast is just different because you're able to view more than, again, what the home team is just kind of putting out there. So I do miss that aspect from a personal standpoint. Driving into Audi Field, which takes 15 minutes, and driving home
right.
to the match makes my life a lot easier. So
hard to beat.
It's I'm, if they want to start traveling again, it's gonna be I'll have to get something nice for my wife. But
right, you'll figure something.
I don't
out.
think it's gonna happen anytime soon.
Yeah. I think that's. My one question that I have is, so I cover Spirit in Audi Field. I don't cover United in the press box, but I don't know if I need binoculars. I'm not sure what's wrong with my eyes. I know I can generally tell where the home team is because I'm much more familiar with them. But when it's the away team, if I've not done an extensive amount of study, and it's a team that has a formation where they sort of they're flowing, they're moving around pretty well.
Yeah.
And from the press box, I'm asking Jason Anderson who was that? I can't see. Yeah. I am apparently old, and I imagine on the monitor broadcast.
Old.
Well, at least my eyes are. I'm not sure exactly what the deal is there, but how when you're doing the away games on a monitor?
Yeah.
Like, how big is the monitor? How close are you to the monitor? And are you just really, really have good eyes? I don't know what's
just imagine you're the TV in your house.
Okay.
Right? It's just that's basically what we're watching it off of, right? And so it's a big TV, don't get me wrong, but we're not watching it like on a movie screen. So
that'd be cool.
I honestly, for home games, just because, and like anyone who really covers MLS, you're familiar with people's faces, and I honestly couldn't tell you most players' numbers. I just go off their faces and the kind of their movement. You're able to understand who is who. And when you're in Audi Field, watching a game in Audi Field, I put numbers on my team sheets when we're covering an away game, simply because it is. You're having you're not right there in the action. You're obviously, a little bit further away, and so I oftentimes too, and I don't know if anyone's ever picked up on this. I often, for teams, say, Ariola or Assad, whoever it is, gets by a defender, let's say against Cincinnati on the weekend, I'll often just say, instead of calling out the defender's name, I'll often just say gets by a Cincinnati defender, because while it's obviously okay to, mistaken who it may have been, you're just not in the moment. You're not 100% comfortable. So you just, because
better to be vague than wrong.
I guess so. Yeah, that's my opinion. I'm sure there's people who disagree with me, but
I don't.
It's one of those things. It is hard. And so I do use numbers, because sometimes it's easier to see the number than it is to actually see people's faces. So,
this question may have been mostly useful for me. I think it's interesting too, but for me, I'm now going to be able to do better at my job. I think the writing the numbers strategy is a good one, so that I can more quickly identify. How soon after you retired was broadcast something you considered doing? Was it obviously you retire, you go through reentry, you think about what's next, you go to the professional world, do different things. How soon after were you like, all right, this is something maybe as a way to get back in the game? I know you were doing something with MLS too for like match.
Yeah, it was a match evaluator, basically a snitch. Yeah, that's what the match evaluator is. So no, it's a good role, but I'll get to that. But yeah, so I actually approached DC United right after I had stopped playing. So my last season, which I didn't play a game in, I was out injured for majority of it, and then when I got healthy, I then got hurt again. So that was 2011. So I was done by 2012. So I approached them and indicated like if there's ever any opportunity, if you guys need a fill-in, I would love to just try it out. And nothing came to fruition with that, and was totally fine. And then I just always just loved the game, and I was trying to figure out what the heck to do. You like, part of you wants to get away from it because you've been doing this your entire life, and the other part of you is like, well, there's a reason that I was doing this my entire life, because I absolutely love it. And so I ended up going to grad school up in Philadelphia. When I was up there, I kind of got hooked up with MLS. Bob Foose from the Players Association reached out and said, hey, we're looking for these match evaluators. And the role of that is to literally just, you sit in between the benches, you listen to what the coaches are yelling at the fourth officials about, you're giving your opinion on what the call should be. If this was before VAR, so if it's maybe someone gives a soft yellow card, 2 soft yellow cards, like, you give your opinion on that. So you do this whole like breakdown 24 hours after the game about here's what was good, here's what the coach said in that moment. Fights break out, you kind of like look out and
did you edit what they said? Was it like ... F ... K?
Well, this was also when Ben was the coach, so
so definitely then
everyone knows Ben's approach to the fourth official, and I don't think he would obviously Ben knows his approach to fourth officials too. So I did some games at Philly, but then I also came back to DC and was doing some games at DC. So yeah, full transcripts. They have to type out every single word that you heard. So, but that kind of kept me in the game. And then, I was approached by DC, I guess, before the 2016 season, and said, is this something that I'd be interested in? And at that point, I had done a podcast with a couple people in like 2013, 2014, just kind of covering DC United. And honestly, I forget the name of it. Chris Wimmer was the man who organized it, and I'm embarrassed, Chris, if you're listening, that I cannot remember the name of the podcast. But
I think it was on your wiki. It was like for DC fans or for the fan.
Gosh,
we're both striking. I'll edit this in. I'll just do it.
No, I mean, there was always interest there and always continue to follow DC. And then I was approached by the club in 2016, and when they were moving to News Channel 8, and so. I had to write a big check out to Dave Johnson to allow me to do it, but it went through, and he said you can come aboard. So no, I've had a blast with it. I love doing it. Obviously, I love the club. Grew up watching it, and I was able to play for them, and so just kind of still being involved, and even on just a couple hours during the on the weekend is enough for me to whet my appetite and continue just keeping my toe in what is just a big passion of mine. That's MLS and soccer in general.
The fans love when the club can keep its former players in the loop. I think it's great for the players. Obviously, it's a way to continue sort of, like you said, sort of kinship to a thing that was a big part of your life, and also keeps it. I think it's overall a good thing. Yeah, sure. There's not enough spots, right?
It is.
Too many players, not enough spots.
Yeah, well, it's hard to do, and it's. I mean, I'm from the area, right? So like, I grew up an hour and a half away, and I have family here, and so I've thought about relocating, and it's just never really come to fruition because this is basically my home. But people come from all over the world to play for DC United, and so it's hard to kind of keep that alumni group together and tight. Right. And so, I don't think it's really a slight on the club. It's something that's just really hard to do, and so those clubs who are able to do it is it's always very impressive.
Are there any guys that you watched both before when you started in 2016 and since where you're like, this is not, I'm necessarily emulating this guy from a color perspective, but I like the way he or she does what they do, and sort of who stands out for you?
Yeah, so I miss Kyle Martino. So he actually had a funny start. I don't know if you know his story, but he was basically working in finance in New York. And I think he got called into like an ESPN game that was taking place in New York that needed to fill in. And he did one game, and I'm telling his story. And so fact check me on this, but from my understanding, he, uh, you know, got called in just for one game in ESPN and was like, oh my gosh, I love this. He like quit his finance job. I was like, how do I do this for full time? And so I love his approach. And back when he was doing it with NBC before he moved over to the Premier League, he was sitting in between the benches. So he was field level. And when you think about that sort of analysis that he's providing from a field level standpoint,
I remember that.
It just blew my mind. And so I remember thinking, if he's able to see this, from field level, I can't imagine what he would be doing if he was up in the booth next to Arlo White. But I just loved how descriptive he was. I'm a big fan of obviously talking tactics and breaking teams down in terms of analysis, but I also think it can be overdone. And so rather than just kind of commentating on the game and providing, if you will, color to the game, sometimes I think it can be overstated, the breakdown of analysis, and kind of overtalked, if you will. So I always thought he had a very good balance of that. And I don't know exactly what he's doing. I mean, I'm not friends with him or anything. I would love to see him get back somehow involved in MLS.
The between the benches thing is great. It's maybe an NHL steal. It was like the Pierre Maguire did that, but it's great.
Yeah, I think he had mentioned that too in this podcast I was listening to, where they, NBC, which had been focused on, they were doing all this great work with the NHL. That's where, they were putting the color guy was in between right there, in between the two teams. So, and then honestly, I like Stu Holden too. I think he does a tremendous job for Fox, and I just kind of like his delivery and his approach to it, and him and John Strong have a good relationship. So those are two guys. Obviously, I can't really hear Kyle anymore. But I do like listening to Stu, and, I don't want to say emulate because everyone has their own style, but I just, pick up some little tricks from him.
Let's talk about what is probably the most viral moment you guys have had this year, which is part owner Mark Ingram in the booth. Seemed like everybody was having a really fun time with that. How much? So this is my interpretation of how it went.
Yeah.
They said, let's have Mark on for a few minutes, and they were like, all right, yeah, cool. He'll come on for a few minutes, and then he has a great time. And Dave and you probably have like a short list of questions that you have ready for him, and then you run through all those, and then he's having such a great time and saying crazy stuff and getting really into it. And the truck is like, we're just gonna go 45. We're just gonna run him the whole time. Am I right or am I wrong?
Truck's like gold, man. Truck's like, this is gold. Just if he wants to stay, then let him stay. Yeah, no, it's exactly right. I mean, I think he had come on. We had maybe like because he came on right before the second half whistle, if I remember correctly, and 5 minutes max, right? Like, yeah, Dave's got 3 questions. I've got 2 questions. We'll walk through it. Have a great day. Go back to your suite. I mean, he's just his energy too, and Dave kind of talked about this. His energy, his comfort level, it's just infectious. And so it just turned into like 3 dudes just like chilling in the booth watching a soccer game, and he's just, you mentioned, just gold. The truck was just like, I remember Dave, you have this button, talkback button, and it mutes you so no one can hear you, and you go directly to the truck. Remember Dave going, what do you think? We need to just like keep him here, or what do you think? And Jeff Strauss, our director, was just like, if he wants to stay, let him stay. This is great.
Lock the door.
I think Mark was surprised by it. I think it kind of like, I think it got to like the 80th minute, and then he realized like, oh my goodness, I'm still here. Like, where did the second half go? And so I remember after the game, he was like, he kind of puts his arms up, but he's got a big smile on his face. He's like, I thought you were just going to ask me a couple questions. I was going to head out. And Dave apologized. Like, I'm so sorry, but this was great. And he goes, no, I loved it. It was fantastic. So I think, we gave him a key to the booth, and I think everyone wants to have him back as soon as possible. I know things are going on for him right now, a little busy with
slightly busy
training camp, but no, he was fantastic. He was fantastic.
I was watching that too, thinking of the people that were in his booth in his suite. Like, wait, I thought he was just
why did he come back? Yeah.
What are we supposed to do? So let's get to the team a little bit. So what's it like as a broadcaster to watch a team that is so full throttle and chaotic in a positive way most of the game under Losada? I think probably slightly easier to find things to comment on than like a 0-0 shotless game where we've had, or just like sort of a stalemate or a physical game that's not really going to produce a lot of opportunities. There are lots of opportunities, maybe not as many goals as the coach would like, but there are certainly opportunities flying all over the place. It's got to be something more enjoyable to try to add color to.
Yeah, it's Mark Ingram has an infectious, personality, and his smile lights up a room. I think Losada has an infectious style, right? And approach this game, and you can't help but just be energized watching them. I mean, it's an exhausting style to play.
Sure.
These players are. It's been a big transition, a little bit different than the Olsen approach, but it's fun. And so, and you ask about watching them. It's how you watch them at home or how you watch them in out of field. I'm watching them the same way, right? And so I have to have a bit more of a neutral lens to it and have a look at tactics a little bit more, a little less on the ball, a little bit more about what's going off of it. But you can kind of you love to see the plays develop. And early on in the season, they simply weren't. Like, it was just running, it was pressing, and now we're hitting, which is going to be a really busy stretch here. We're at the end of July. They've got the ability to press teams. They have the ability to hit teams on the break. They have the ability to be in a mid block if they want to. They have the ability to have 6, 7, 8 passes and create a chance. Now, they're not always hitting the back of the net. I know, obviously, Losada talks about needing to finish. Everyone knows they need to finish more. But the chances they're creating from the run of play through counterattacks, like, it's just, they can hit you a number of ways. And that's so exciting just as a fan to be able to see that. And, adding color to that, sometimes I just try not to get in the way of what's being viewed. So, I'll try to provide some sort of breakdown a little bit. If I see something happen 3 passes ago, or if I see someone out of position, I try to call that out. But, for the most part, what I just find engaging is exciting is you never know what sort of approach they're going to take. Are they going to realize the situation, hit you on the high press like Julian Gressel did on the weekend, winning that ball and then slotting it across Ola Kamara? Are they going to be in a mid block? And then against New York City, are they going to go direct like they did from Moses Nyman to Nigel Roberta? So it definitely keeps you on your toes. It's certainly not predictable. And I can imagine it's getting frustrating and tough for teams to kind of plan to play a Losada ball, because while he says it's up tempo and it's high energy and it's high press, that's true, but they've also got a bunch of different folds to it as well. And now they're being more dangerous in the final third, just creating opportunities to the run of play. I think they still need to work on low blocks, right? Like we saw Orlando come in, we saw Philly come in. They have better ideas in terms of breaking down these low blocks. But those are going to continue to cultivate in time, and hopefully when a full roster is healthy as well, and Losada has everyone to pick,
right,
and find his best 11, that can probably help in terms of breaking down those low blocks too. But yeah, it's an interesting team. I think there's a ton of upside to the team. You're looking at the table and there's opportunity out there. I mean, Losada always talks about it. I don't think we've been outplayed by any team. John, unless you know a game, I can't think of one.
Not really. Even the San Jose game, which was a lopsided score, it was weird individual mistakes. If I'm remembering now, it seems like forever ago, but there was some weird individual defensive mistakes. I think Fred fell over tracking back on Cade Cowell.
Cade Cowell was the mistake. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a human mistake machine at that time.
It was letting him play that was the mistake. Yeah. So no, that's a good shout. Yeah, San Jose, I blocked that one out too. But other than that, that was a second game of the year and second or third game of the year, and they still hadn't really figured out transition at times. I think they still struggle. And
I don't think they even had a full complement of players on the bench. I think they had 5 guys that they could bring with them. So I don't hold that against them for sure. Honestly, though, we're re-entering based on the walking wounded situation in the Red Bulls game. We're sort of there. Giovanni Bolivar may be looking at minutes just because they're so banged up at forward. But I think you made a good point about the Red Bulls game, is that the way they set out, right? If you looked at that lineup, some of it's dictated by injuries, but some of it was also, I think, tactical. Some of that was having Drew Skundrich in that 8 role and sort of like in between those two. I don't think they've done that before. I've not seen that sort of, particularly at home against a rival doesn't matter, but the way that the Red Bull set out, and I think the game went according to plan. I think that's what they wanted to do, based on the way they were playing. As far as let's grab a goal and then let's strangle this game. They're going to play physical. They don't have the strengths to match up to really put us under a whole bunch of pressure, and they just ended the game. They allowed no offense. They were just nullifying. So I thought that was pretty. It's great to have that in the bag, right? It's great to have that. Swashbuckling is great, and it depends on when you got to use it. But it's good to have, like, we're gonna tactically deploy opportunities to steal the ball and put the ball in the net. Otherwise, we're just gonna let you not do anything.
Yeah, and I think Losada's style, it's a bit of an equalizer, right? Like, I mean, obviously he wants a full roster and be able to pick his best 11, but a lot of it has to do with effort and running and positioning, and those are all things you can teach. And so, even though, I mean, I don't want to think at New York Red Bulls they have their own style, and I think not the New York Red Bulls of past where they have Thierry Henry and this high, quality players. They still have quality players, but like you face a team like New York City, who's got fantastic quality in their front four. You've got team like, well, Miami, I don't know. They should have quality in the front four. But what I'm trying to indicate, what I'm trying to get the point across, it is an equalizer, just the style of play. It kind of can limit the ability for teams with those, dangerous and expensive front 3-4 players. It has the ability to take them out of the game. And so, when you're missing your $5 million man in Edison Flores, you have Paul Arriola out, Donovan Pines, who's, obviously with the national team as well. These are some important pieces that are missing from the team, and he's still able to go out there because of the style, because of the coaching involved, because of the tactics, go out there and get a result with, basically not a full squad.
From a former player's perspective, what was your reaction when you heard about the big changes in fitness expectations, about putting everyone's BMI on the wall in a meeting, prescribing more of the off-field time? Like, that was all the stories were like, it made it sound like Hernan was like, all right, you will eat bananas from 5 to 6, and you will no video games. We're throwing those out, and you're going to go to bed at 7:30 every night. That's what's going to happen. As a former player, obviously Ben Olsen known more as a player's coach, very much like, you just get here and you work hard for me in practice, and you try. You fight for 90 minutes. I don't really care what you do. Maybe you did, but it seemed very much was like, I was a player. I get it. I don't want to be miserable.
Yeah.
What was your reaction to sort of that big change? Because I think it was pronounced, and or at least covered as if it were dramatic and pronounced.
Yeah, I mean, as a former player, everyone, like, we all did body mass index when we came in on the first day, right? So, like, it wasn't a secret, and it was pretty visible who did some work in the off season and who didn't do some work in the off season. Now, lining it up with like a chart, and I don't know all about. I mean, I know obviously report said that he did that, and there's confirmation on that. I don't think we ever did anything like that, but at the same time, like, that's fine with me. Now, changing all the off field, I think, from a culture standpoint, I think Losada is bringing DC United into a new age, right? Like, this is the stuff that, he was experiencing. This is the expectations his players over in Belgium had, that he had set forth for them. And so it worked over there. I'm going to bring this stateside, and it's going to work for you. Now, the hard part is making those adjustments. You have to buy into it, right? If you're a player, you have to say, okay, I'm willing to do this because I believe what he is selling me. I believe that he is going to get us to where we need to be as a team. But you need to start getting results pretty quickly with that too. And he's been able to, obviously they're not sitting top of the table, but he's been able to get the full buy-in from the teams or from the players. And obviously the results have started to come as well. And so when those results come, when you get a 7-1, everything's fine, right? Like, I don't care whatever.
We love running. It's fantastic.
Running. It's so worth it. And, also for players, I played for Peter Novak. So, like, I mean, fitness levels where we had pretty intense, crazy fitness levels too. That was really my only skill in professionals when I played for DC United, was the ability to run. So,
beep test master.
I thought about coming out of retirement and be like, Losada, give me a try out. Yeah, beep test master. That was my moniker. So I can't connect a 5-yard pass, but I can run, coach. So.
I think he might have a spot for you. I think that's certainly a compelling narrative for him at this moment. You're healthy.
Yeah.
You're able to make it. That's a job one right now.
Yeah, I couldn't run across the field right now. But.
Who's been the most pleasant surprise for you on the field this season, and why is it Andy Nahar?
Yeah. So it is not Andy. Andy's awesome, man. No, of course. Yeah, like I mean, how old was he? I got to play with him in 2010, and just his story is incredible, right? I mean, how he came to the United States, and then he gets picked out to join DC United's academy, and then like a month later, he's the best player in DC United's training.
Ben throws number 14 at him.
Yeah, seriously, right? Yeah, because
he's like, but you can eat.
Right when Ben retired too, right? So, no, and you just want him to do well, and you knew like when he came back into the league in LA, like I was excited about it, but you knew it was kind of just a place for him to kind of reset, get healthy. I know he got some games. What did he get, like 7 or 8 games? But I didn't really expect him when I saw that to be the Andy Nahar that he had been in the past. And so when he was a trialist, right, where everyone's following like golf's Twitter, whoever else's Twitter, just indicating like how is Andy doing, I knew as soon as he made the team, like he's gonna be legit, because he's just got I feel like he's got the fire in him. I feel like this club is near and dear to his heart, and if you can combine that passion and you combine that fire, he's got the quality, he's got the skill. If he can stay healthy, then you knew it was going to be good things. Now, what I didn't foresee is just being a playmaker from right center back. I thought,
right, no one did. No one could have seen that.
Like, I mean, only Losada could envision this, right? And it came to him. And so, at times, I always thought he could be, if they needed to deploy him as a right back or maybe even like a right, wing back. But he's been so good back there. It's just it's fantastic to see, and you just knock on wood that hopefully he continues to stay healthy and keep letting him do his thing. But he is a highlight reel every time he gets the ball at his feet right now. I mean, it's brilliant to watch.
He is for sure going to set the MLS record for most completed dribbles as a center back. It's not going to be close. If they keep such a stat, he will be at the top of it. I can't imagine him not being there.
Well, I also envision him as kind of like being like the perfect sitting under the forward, right? So like Arriola on the left and then Nahar on the right too, and he was healthy. And so, but again, I never imagined him being a right center back. I also, when I was playing with him, and he's had quite a few experiences since I last played with him in 2010, Champions League and such. So he's picked up a little bit of experience, but he's a good defender.
Yeah.
Right. Like one-on-one. I mean, he's got the athletic ability, but he reads the game really well too. And that was always, obviously he was only like 18 years old, but that was a part of his game that I never really thought was too elite, but he's what do I know?
Yeah. Hernan sort of said in one of the press availabilities that the role that he's playing is sort of partially to keep him from hurting himself. Like he was like, originally we're thinking he'd run less and we'd be able to, and then it's like, oh, but no, he's actually just as active. He's playing as though he's doing what he would have done on the right wing where he deployed there, but he's in a defensive position. So
yeah. Well, it's just it's just who he is though.
Right.
Like he just sees the space. He's got the confidence with the ball at his feet, and I mean he'll break lines and then he'll break another line, and then he'll provide service or slip a pass or whatever. So most center backs limit it to 2 touches, but that's
right.
Not Andy's game. And it's what he's a bit unpredictable in that regard, but offensively he's so important to DC United right now, and again defensively he's been so steady as well. So Perez too has surprised me. I mean,
yep.
Bradley called him, liked his game to Firmino.
That's a high compliment from a guy coming out of indoor soccer.
Dude, right?
Famously, only to people who listen to the show, I'd written a sort of season preview in the forwards, and it was long, and I was like, I had to have gotten everybody, and I just completely forgot the player. I did not include him in the article. I didn't even think about it until the next day, and I was like, oh, all right, well, That's the seventh guy. I apologize. It's not going to be a big deal. He's making up numbers, and then of course, clearly incorrect. He has had a. There's no way that you could have predicted how many minutes he would have by this point in the season, and that he would, until he got injured, start and play every game or play every game.
I know. I know. I was bummed for him to hear about that injury. Obviously, everyone in Philly seemed to be getting hurt. DC forgot their switchblades when they went up to Chester. But
yeah, they did. They forgot where they were playing.
Yeah, but no, he's been special, and I mean, he's got a lot of quality, and you could see too what the relationship between him and Edison Flores was too, and they just love to play together, and so I think his game kind of took a little bit of a hit, and maybe he had a little bit of a knock as well, but it kind of took a hit when Edison Flores went down with his hamstring. But yeah, he's been a bright spot. I mean, honestly, the whole team's just kind of been a bright spot. Everyone's been playing at a pretty high level. Suspect finish.
Perez too.
But
Perez too probably has not had this much consecutive play since he was playing at the youth level. He's not been a consistent professional starter since indoor league. So I think that's also got to take it's almost like a rookie form dip, even as a middle older player. Like he's been around the game a little bit. So we were all just want him to score a goal, right? Like just break that duck. He's so many opportunities, and also I would like to see Andy score at home. I think that would be a phenomenal another goal. I think that'd be great.
I mean, I think talking about players too is Andy scoring in front of the supporters, that go crazy. So yes. But Perez is gonna, I think, hopefully he gets back healthy and back to form, and I think he's gonna be a little bit like Paredes, right? Like once he hits the back of the net, like it's just kind of like a weight off your shoulders, start to feel more comfortable inside the 18, and if they could unlock Perez in terms of hitting the back of the net as well, then that'd be a big piece for DC United. You just get him back healthy first, I guess. So.
Yeah, I think it's a common discussion among fans and the media about the three young players with the most playing time this season. Two of them now starting to have transfer buzz, with varying degrees of probably accuracy, with City Football Group being linked to Kevin. Maybe that's true. Maybe they want to put him to Melbourne City or take him to New York City and screw us somehow. But who do you think? Go ahead.
Can we talk about why they call themselves Group?
Yeah,
isn't a group like 5 or 6 people? Like instead of like
conglomerate city football syndicate. So exactly. of Pines, Paredes, and Nyman, they're all doing great. I think highest ceiling is always a discussion. I think that Nyman was. I'll tell you mine first. So I had Nyman as sort of being the guy that I was thinking, obviously the youngest, but from a European attractiveness perspective, his skill set, his age still, sort of maybe how it projects that he maybe is the most likely to move sooner and have opportunities. But I think now Paredes is hot, right? Paredes, if someone came in for him now, this is he's got first call up, even though it wasn't a full call up, first attention with the national team. Confidence scoring goals now, positional versatility. Pine's getting an opportunity to go play in the Gold Cup. So, if you had to guess who's the first one to really break out and be playing somewhere else?
It's a good question. It's, my opinion is it's Kevin Paredes. And the reason being is attacking players, like that the technical ability he has in 1v1 situations, his pace, just his overall skill set, a left-footed dynamic winger. Those, and not to say a Nyman or a Donovan Pines are easy to come by either, but those are tough to come by, right? Like a left-footed, loves going 1v1, can be a wing back, can maybe be a left back, can maybe be a high winger. Haven't really seen him inside, but he is comfortable coming inside and kind of providing some link up play between the center mids and the forward. So I think if I were to name one, I'd probably say Paredes. But of course, I mean, Nyman he's got so much quality to his game in terms. I mean, he's so young. You see his game; he's so composed. for being little in stature, he's got tremendous balance and strength, and he can, his timing of his tackles is tremendous too. And so he can, ride off some challenges that you wouldn't expect him to ride off. He can win some challenges that you wouldn't expect him to win. And he needs it, any young player, he's got some room for improvement. I think distribution in terms of, maybe over 20, 30 yards could be improved, but he still has that in his game as well. So, and you don't need that all the time as a, number 6. You can always just, as long as you're playing forward, which you can do, splitting lines, then, that he's got a high ceiling too. So I don't know. I don't want to put it in any order. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Yeah. I think Donovan Pines is just, obviously he's with the national team. I mean, he's doing fantastic. And so, I don't know if there'd be a transfer coming from him. But he's still got some developing to do, but just his ability, his role as a center back in the back 3, I think is perfect for him at the moment, and he's just developing every game and getting this time with the national team under Berhalter is going to do wonders for his game as well. So
we asked Moses sort of like what you ask every young player, like who do you monitor your game after, who do you look at? He said Conte. I was like, that was the one obvious. Like that was the one on my mind, obviously, too. The fact that riding out challenges, being the shortest guy in the field, being able to muscle guys off the ball, but also looking like the wind could blow you over, like things that don't make sense, he can do, and that's got to be attractive, right?
Yeah, it is a skill set, or it's a talent, right? I mean, like, and his just ability to, Conte's ability to just move his feet constantly, and I mean, it puts players in bad positions because they can't get around him, and he's just got terrific footwork. And Nyman is, he has tremendous footwork as well, and has good time challenge. So, yeah, he's so tidy with the ball at his feet too. Like, I mean, he's so comfortable. He can. I remember last year, like I forget what game it was. We came in late in the game, and I think it was towards the end of the season, so DCU actually was up, and I remember he got played a tight ball from the center back, and he had 2 midfielders coming down to close him, and it was just a casual little open the hips split the seam just with the ball at his feet. And so, yeah, that sort of composure is, at that age, it's remarkable.
It's good times for DC fans. There was always the criticism about not playing the academy kids enough, and then my always argument would be, well, what did they do when they left? Like, are they national teams? Eric Williamson being the one proving the opposite, but that would always be the thing. It's like, well, they didn't go on, right? Like, so maybe Ben was evaluating talent properly. Maybe that was the case. But now you have these kids that are busting down the doors. Kevin is a nailed on starter now at this point. Maybe not, but it feels like if he's healthy that they can't keep him out of the lineup right now. Yeah, and that's a good thing.
He's become pivotal over the past month or so. I mean, it kind of changes their dynamic too, and Losada's talked about it a little bit. Like, they'll overload the right side, hoping to be able to get him isolated on the left side for 1v1 situations. And I mean, there's not too many coaches in the league who have players on their roster who they're willing to just like tactically change things slightly to get this player in these good situations. So he's fun. He's fun. And you can hear it like an Audi field too now. Like, he gets the ball and there's this expectation that something amazing is going to happen. You love to feel that energy, but at the same time you're like, let's just let the kid play a little bit.
Yeah, well, there's a pop when they do lineups too. Like, it's fun to watch that the evolution happen, right? Like, you get a pop for your first game, like, hey, it's the new kid, great, and then maybe nothing happens for a while, and then he just becomes like baseline polite clap, and then you score a goal, and then you start doing these things, and then you are Bill Hamid level pop.
Oh yeah!
Every time they call your name, that's fun to watch. Just sort of seeing how the fans react. 2 more questions for you. I appreciate you taking your time on this. It's Wednesday night. Again, we don't know what days things are anymore.
It's all the same.
We've kept the power. The sun. I did not get electrocuted. So that's great. I won't bring up Harbor View in depth because I think Filibuster went a little bit in depth in it when you were on their podcast. But that was the first year I had a season ticket package, so I was sitting right in front of where you were celebrating after your first goal. So I remember that like extremely clearly.
Oh, nice.
I love the Champions League. I'm on record for talking about it all the time. I feel like it never really. It's not taken off in the way that I would hope it to take off. And obviously, besides, what was your experience like playing in an international tournament, like a club competition like that? And what do you think, besides an MLS team winning, what makes it more of a draw? What makes it more of a TV draw? What gets people in the seats on a Wednesday night?
Yeah.
Is it just that Americans don't watch they watch European leagues, they watch MLS, but as far as they're not finding like channel 7,000 to find out what Joe Public is doing in the league, or like maybe they watch Liga MX, hopefully they watch that, but beyond that, these are sort of unknown teams. So how do you sell that to an American consumer?
I don't
tough,
know.
right?
They haven't figured it out yet.
Nope.
You watch Champions League, I watch Champions League. To be perfectly frank, the only games I watch in Champions League have MLS teams in them. I'm not watching the,
There's too much soccer to watch the group stage.
I'm not watching the Harborview versus Saprissa. But yeah, I think a big unlock for the American soccer community, and this is just me spitballing, is an MLS team winning it. Mm-hmm. And the reason I say that is because until we win it, it's a Mexican dominated trophy. And so with that, it's always the attitude of like, well, I don't really need to watch that game, or because like, even if they win the first leg, they're going to go to Mexico. And we always know what happens when American teams or Canadian teams go to Mexico. And while that narrative has changed slightly over the past like 5 years,
mm-hmm.
I remember when I was playing, it was like, oh my gosh, we got to tie at Pachuca. Like this was like major news in MLS.
Mm-hmm.
And now, teams are starting to win, but just unable to really get through to hopefully Philadelphia can do it. But ultimately lift up the trophy. And so I think that'll help. It's just an American culture thing too, of just being ingrained in your club and what this means to the club. I mean,
right.
Being the best in the region, going to wherever the World FIFA Club Championship is going to be held, and like potentially if we're able
I'd fly to that in a second.
Exactly.
If DC United got to that, they could get beat 37-0 by Liverpool or whatever, and I'd be like, this is the best thing that I could have ever asked for.
I know. I mean, exactly. And so until an MLS team kind of has that breakthrough, I think it's just always going to be kind of like a bit of misery and like slightly watching the games, but not fully invested because it's a book you've read before. So that's my thought on it. And I don't know. I mean, obviously we know Liga MX, oh my gosh. Yeah. The Mexican League. Obviously we know like their support in the United States is massive too. And so it's a difficult thing for Garber and whoever else is making those decisions. Like, how do we compete against that while also leveraging all these supporters to come watch our teams? So
they're trying to figure that out now with all the Nations League stuff, or not Nations League, but whatever it's called, Leagues Cup.
The Leagues
They're
Cup.
trying to figure it out.
Yeah, so it's because it's a cash cow, and I think both leagues are trying to figure out how to do it. What I don't want to see is just one huge North American league. I think that just loses the. I think a lot will be lost there, because you're not going to have Philadelphia, you're not going to have New York Red Bulls coming to town. You'd have, you may have them. You'd have like
once every other year you might get them.
Yeah,
it'd be
exactly.
Querétaro on a Saturday.
Exactly.
Like cool, I guess.
Exactly.
That's fine.
Cool. And then you don't know who these players are and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So. There was another question you started with.
Yeah, just sort of like what it felt like to play in it. I think this is a weird visual reminder. This is what I remember about Champions League in that era. I remember the Champions League logo falling off of everyone's jersey.
Yeah.
Because they were iron on at the last second, and they were just bloop.
Yeah. It might not even been an iron. It might have been a blow dryer. Like a hair dryer, just like putting it on the sleeve, and then I remember them falling off all over the field after the game. There'd be like 10 of them on the field. But, honestly, at the time, I was very naive, right? Like, I mean, I knew of these clubs, and I just thought playing for DC United, I was lucky. I went to like the best, most historic club in MLS coming out of college. And I just thought it's just what you did. Like you just played Pachuca and you played Cruz Azul, and like this is just what you do. You're in CONCACAF Champions League every year, and
Right.
so, um, while I remember, I mean, just being amazed by the quality of these teams and being in Mexico City, um, and like getting the feel and the vibe of like what it means to be part of that club in that city. Something that I don't think at the time DC United players were experiencing. You just I was just naive to it. Like it was to me just another game. And I look back and I watch Champions League, and while obviously we're out there to win the games, and I put forth my best effort. I just thought it was something you did every season. Like in February, you're going to go to like Costa Rica, you're going to go to Jamaica, and you're going to play a couple games, or you'll play a game, and then you'll come back and you'll play another game, and it'll be 30 degrees, and then we'll go play some Mexican teams. And but now I'm watching, I'm like, I just had no idea the gravity of what these games actually meant, and I still kind of that's one thing I look back on in my career, and I'm like, I didn't even like exchange jerseys with any of these teams because it is special. It really is. And so I think that the gravitas of playing in Champions League for MLS teams is there now. I think their understanding of what it means for them to have a chance to be, or at least playing with the best teams in the region, is taken seriously. And that's not to say it wasn't taken serious by our staff or by DC United, but like in the moment, it was just like another game, and I just thought
Well, you
it's
were
just what
young,
you
right?
did.
I
I
mean, you're
was
young.
young,
That's like
yeah,
anybody
and
else
it was
that.
I walked into a successful club, and you don't always understand the work that went into that success with people
Mhm.
who had gotten there before you, and so um, yeah, and it all obviously quickly faded after the 2008, I think, was the last year that we were part of any sort of international.
Yep,
I remember
I remember
correctly.
the. I think 2008 was there was a group stage game where you went through three goalies because of red cards, injury and two red cards. James Thorpe came on and saved the penalty, I believe. I think that was '08. Yeah, it was a weird time. It was like right as I was getting into the DC United fandom. I was just like you. I was like, well, we're always going to be in this.
We're
This is
just like,
something that I
yeah,
have to
it's
love.
guaranteed.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of James Tharp, didn't he get a red card against Cruz Azul for wasting time like in the first half? I want to say he did. Yeah.
That was his first start, I believe. Also, that was a real bummer for him.
Oh, poor kid.
Yep.
Mm.
So you said 2008. I think we'll wrap up. I want to know about fond memories from the Open Cup win. I was '08, right? Was it '08 or 11?
Oh
Am I
wait,
wrong?
no, yeah. Oh wait, yeah,
Known to me as the only time I've ever seen a DC United win a trophy in front of me.
yeah.
So I remember it very. And did Lewis Creighton run out in practice? Also, would he run to like midfield and dribble the ball out and do
Oh
crazy
yeah, yeah, yeah.
stuff?
Yeah, you know, that was yeah. I
That
mean,
was just him.
dude was a character. I mean, he played with a smile on his face, and um, just an overall character, and a good dude. But yeah, as a defender, that sort of approach to the game. This is why I have gray hair. You think I bleached my hair? I have gray hair because
It's
Lewis
Lewis Creighton.
Creighton in 2000. uh, yeah, but oh goodness, yeah. That so I was fortunate to be. My rookie year was 2006. We won the Supporter Shield. Again, naive, like cool, good for us. Like we're the best team in the league. Yeah, it's just like what we do.
As you expect.
2007 repeated that, won the Supporter Shield, and then 2008, I was like, oh my goodness, what's it like not to win the Supporter Shield? This is what MLS is like. It's a battle, and so when we had the opportunity, to be in the final for the Open Cup. I mean, fortunately, we were able to host it against the Battery, and we had a lot of good players. Fred was on the team.
Hmm. He
Um,
scored that game, didn't he?
I think he got this. Did he get a second? I think Emilio
He
got
might
the
have got the second
first
goal.
one.
Emilio first, and then I think
Yeah, and
Fred
he
got
scored.
the
He
finisher.
scored in the early going too, and I think he like hurt his groin in the process of scoring, so he got subbed off. But yeah, I mean, it was awesome. It was really um, being able to do it in front of you know, everyone in RFK. It was awesome. It was. I like this. I don't know. I have different thoughts on what the highlight of my career was. Lifting a trophy obviously is always at the top, but there may be like a couple moments where like dreams kind of come true and that create a bit of an equalizer. But it certainly was a special moment. And it was a hard game too. I mean, I remember we weren't taking the Battery lightly. We knew they were going to come out, and we knew they were going to play. And I think they had Alonso was holding down the midfield for them, who obviously has had a tremendous career in MLS. And so, they had some quality players and made a game of it. And, we came out on top and lifted the trophy, and it was just it was a fantastic night. The hard part about the Open Cup is when you're, winning a trophy on a Wednesday night and you play on a Saturday,
right. Right. You got to flush it and have prep the next day.
The celebration doesn't last long. So that's the only
celebrating in front of the bar. I remember just everyone
bringing the trophy over. Yeah,
it was very, very cool. Hope for another moment like that again in the future. Devon,
for sure.
Thank you so much for joining our traditional hour-long podcast.
Sorry I should thank you for joining, because I was the one who was talking the whole time. So thank you for allowing me.
That is the idea, man. I appreciate it. Well, we know where to find him on TV. He's also on Twitter and Instagram, but I think Twitter is the one maybe he uses a little bit more than Instagram. Is that would that be? Or which one, where if someone were to follow you, would they have more value?
Yeah.
Follow both of them.
Value, man. That's a loose word. So, so I'm on Twitter. I probably thumb that more than Instagram. So do some stuff there. I can reply to people there. So it's just at Devon McT. Instagram's the same, but it's mostly my children, and you guys don't need to see my kids. So,
or if you want to, you can. So that's
or if you want to,
home and work, whatever you get, whatever you want to do. You can, and I have proof evidence that he will read these tweets. He will see them. If there's a delay in the game, he will see them. So,
and do I need to show my hair?
It's right. Proof of life. It's like hold the newspaper up next to it. What year was this? Devon, thank you so much for joining, everybody. This is the second episode of the week, I believe. Later on in this week, we'll have an interview with Ashley Sanchez. So make sure you are subscribed to the podcast. If you want this podcast the day we record it, which is Wednesday night. So if you're staying up late and really eager for some podcasts, join our Patreon, patreon.com/RFK Refugees. Thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you in like 24 hours. Vamos.